efficiency, scale, innovation. At Lindan Engineering Corporation, true vertical integration begins at the source. Operating as our mining and extraction wing, Resource Dynamics provides the heavy infrastructure that fuels LEC's entire fleet production. By securing raw materials deep in the frontier, we keep our supply chain independent and secure. To anchor our long-range industrial network, we deploy the MAS-600 Arbor-Class Mining Platform, a forward operating hub featuring an oversized cargo bay and onboard refinery for simultaneous extraction and processing of materials. Crew have control over a pair of Class B Ragnarok mining lasers, along with direct access to the portside airlock for coordinated EVA space mining procedures. However, its defining characteristic sits at the rear of the vessel, a multi-purpose carrier rack designed to haul a variety of cargo containers or transport a dedicated scouting ship. Securing directly to the docking bay of the AMP's carrier rack is the MAS-112 Atom Runner, a single-operator mining rig designed strictly for localized deployments. While the Atom relies on larger ships like the AMP for long-range transit, its compact frame allows it to navigate high-density debris fields that would normally cause catastrophic hull failure on larger ships. This agility is matched by its specialized industrial loadout, center-mounted Type 3 core extraction lasers for deep deposit fracturing, supported by a starboard thermal induction boring drill and a portside coaxial grappling arm to secure raw materials. Through this joint ecosystem, Resource Dynamics powers the foundation of LEC's manufacturing pipeline, proving that on the modern frontier, efficiency is innovation redefined.
What is going on, captains and shipwrights? You know, every now and then, a build comes along that perfectly represents what Lindan Engineering Corporation is supposed to be. This is one of those builds. The MAS-600 Arbor-Class Mining Platform is designed to be an all-in-one industrial rig capable of extraction, refining, and hauling. Visually, the design is totally inspired by the Argo Raft from Star Citizen, which is one of my favorite ships in that game. But instead of doing a pure cargo hauler, I wanted this to be a carrier-hauler hybrid that can transport a smaller mining rig. And yes, both of these ships can be built on all platforms. Now, LEC is supposed to operate as a vertically integrated ship manufacturer with its own network of supply chains, and both the Arbor and Atom Runner are key components of the Resource Dynamics fleet, which is LEC's industrial mining division. Resource Dynamics obviously draws heavy inspiration from the Resource Development Administration from Avatar, and just like the Sea Dragon motherships that you see in Way of the Water and Fire and Ash, the Arbor is supposed to fill a similar role as a command hub that can deploy smaller satellite vessels. Ideally, I wanted to have at least 2 Atom Runners docking in the rear rack, but the Deimos landing gear didn't really scale properly with the added length. So I almost went with mini drones, but I really wanted to build 2 distinct ships that you can enter. And that's where that rear rack comes into play, because it features a docking bay that allows for safe, pressurized ingress and egress between the ships. Now, of course these mechanics are all just in my head canon, because there's no way to fly around when ships are docked to each other. I wish we did have some carrier or freighter mechanic to transport ships, and I still think it could be done one day through mods or updates, but for now, if you want to fly with these ships as an ecosystem, you have to use a mod like Watchtower or Fleet Commander, where you can assign a crew member to pilot one of your ships, and then just have it follow you around. Now, onto the specs. The Arbor sits at exactly 80 meters long and 46 meters wide, which means it just hits the size limit for vanilla shipbuilding, and it will not clip into anything when you land. While it is larger for this game, in the grand scheme of things, I'd consider this a medium build overall, because I think a larger mining ship should be closer to 150 to 200 meters in length, with a full-on hangar bay to deploy satellite mining ships, just like the RDA Sea Dragons. The Atom Runner, on the other hand, is a micro build at 24 meters long and 22 meters wide. Ideally, this thing should be about half the size, but ship parts in Starfield are pretty big relative to character size, so there's nothing we can do about it. Now, the Hab situation is pretty cool. The main interior setup is mostly comprised of Habs from Hope Tech Ship Hab expansion, and this is going to allow for a ladderless interior. With those Habs, The Arbor is able to crew up to 9, made up of 3 dedicated flight crew, 2 field specialists, like medics and geologists, and 4 mining operators, any of whom can operate the docked Atom Runner for tandem space mining operations. The Atom Runner is a solo mining ship designed for local deployments, but it also has an EVA hatch and a couple of jump seats for passengers to deploy as well. There's a lot of ship features, and I'll get into all the details about it during the interior tour section of the video. Let's talk about costs next. The Arbor is a big ship, but at around 450,000 credits, give or take, the value to size and usage ratio is incredible with this ship. Once the build is complete, I'm going to be making an adjustment to the engine layout, which is going to add an additional 20k to the cost, but still, this is incredible value here. The Atom Runner being a micro build at 150,000 credits is also really good value. That means that you can build both of these ships for just a little over 600,000 credits. I mean, 600,000 is half the price of the average ship build that you'll see me do on this channel, and you're building 2 ships with 0 compromise. Incredible deal. Next up is the mods. First, remember all of the mods listed in white font are available on all platforms, while any mod listed in yellow font is for Xbox and PC players only. Now, I designed both ships to look like they belong in the same family, so when you translate that to mods, that means there is a ton of crossover between both ships. For the Arbor, you're going to need 2 paid mods in Antares Supra, which costs 1,000 credits, and ASC Deimos, which costs 400 credits. At the time of this recording, Antares Supra is going through some QA updates, so you might run into some issues with the parts or mod features, but anything required for this build is completely fine. Hab mods are going to include Hope Tech Ship Hab Expansion, Owl Tech Let's Work, and Stroud Premium Edition. As I mentioned earlier, the Hab selection is going to allow for a ladderless interior, and I'm going to provide a detailed walkthrough at the end. For one of the weapon slots, I'm also using some mining lasers that are available through TN's Space Mining and Salvage mod. This mod fleshes out some of the space mining and salvaging mechanics that the game is teasing us with, and one of its core features is implementing mining lasers to break down materials in space. So, typical weapons won't be able to destroy things like asteroids, only the added mining lasers can, and so I added a pair to the Atom Runner. Also, quick shout out to Jay Duke over on X for inspiring this mining theme here. He posted a clip a while back using the ZSW EVA airlock mod, and while I already had that in my load order, I actually never used it, and I never saw it in action until seeing his clip. I've been missing out big time because this mod is really cool, and both of these builds, and most likely all of my builds from now on, aren't going to include an airlock hatch, but this mod is not required. Everything else that's listed is pretty much standard for my builds at this point, so you should already have mods like TIG, Avantag, and Mattels, as well as all the optimization mods like Shipbuilder Configurator, and Better Shipwreck Flips and Snaps. Now, since we're using parts from Antares Supra, you are going to have to go to the Sundergrief Star Station in order to access the Supra parts. But the good thing is, you'll be able to build both ships completely without having to source parts from other locations. Okay, the Arbor is a big ship, but it's a very straightforward build process. The Atom Runner is even easier, and we should get that done in about 10 minutes or less. But always remember, if you have any questions, or if you get stuck anywhere, feel free to reach out to me in the comments. Okay, as usual, we start off the build with the landing bay. For this build, I prefer the look of the Hope Tech landing bay, and I recommend using the one-of-a-kind Hope 4.1 XL landing bay for Xbox and PC players. For PS5 players, you're going to be using the vanilla Hope 4 landing bay, which is going to give you direct access to the flight deck and bridge, which is very convenient. If you want door entry into the first deck as well, then just go ahead and use the 134 LSE landing bay from Stroud Premium Edition. you have Trinity Airworks in your load order, add these Deimos cowls in the bottom 4 orientation to the sides of the landing bay. And if you're using TNs all-in-one, these are going to be located in the Thrusters tab instead of the usual Structural tab. If you're using Place Doors yourself or Hatch 22, add your door markers. I'm using the cargo hall as a forked hallway to either access the workshop area or the crew habitation area because I don't want these two sections of the ship to cross into each other. I'm going to chime in here real quick. When you attach this cap C, you want to make sure that it snaps to the ventral utility frame that we just added, so it can sit a half step above the habs underneath. You want to make sure that you have this gap between the cap C and the habs. Then attach Type B1 caps on each side of the cap C. Merge these other ASC caps in a hole in between so that these all sit a half step above the habs. To make this easy, you can line up the rear edge of the hole with the rear edge of the B1 caps. We're also going to attach delta bracers underneath the B1 caps, but this is going to cause interior clipping, and we'll fix that later on in the video. Now there's going to be a few parts called ventral utility frames in the Antares equipment tab, so make sure you select the proper ones needed for this next section. You need the one with the diagonal in the name in the aft orientation, and the similar but longer frame in the fore orientation. When attaching the ventral utility frames on top of the habs, you may run into an issue where it doesn't automatically snap into place. If that happens, we'll use the select plus accept merging technique to snap it into place. So just place it as close as you can to where it needs to go above the habs. Don't let it snap to anything, we want it to just sit freely in place. Then highlight the entire ship by pressing the select all button. Then press your accept button and the ventral frame is going to snap into place. Next, we're going to be installing parts called pipe utility frames from Antares Supra. These are going to be located in the Antares equipment tab, and they're a variant of a part called the scaffold utility frame. So you're not going to see these right away. You need to switch to the pipe variant once you've located the scaffold. Afterwards, insert utility adaptive pylons into them, then create 2 triple stacks of these. I'm going to place these in between the ventral frames and the maintenance corridor hab by attaching them directly to the front of the mini bracers. Next up is the decorative engines. We're going to utilize a second merging technique here called select plus shift. To make this process easier, we're going to first level parts on the Z axis, which is the height level. So attach 2 decorative Ares DT engines directly to the mini bracers. You want to make sure that they're centered on the Z axis. Then remove them and select the entire ship and shift it towards the engines until they merge into the mini bracers and snapped directly to the utility pipes that we just added. This method is called select plus shift, and we're going to be using it quite often for this build, so get used to this process of attaching and removing parts to level them so that we can merge them. Now attach these lateral frames to the maintenance corridor, and then we'll highlight this hab and everything attached to it by hitting select all, and then we merge the pylons by shifting the hab into the pylons until they snap to the hab. Once the pylons are attached, then you just reattach everything back into the carrier rack of the ship. I think by now you should be getting pretty comfortable with the select plus shift technique, so for this next one, we're going to do the same thing, but you want to aim for the middle mini bracer to snap behind the first Hoptech pipe and into the second pipe. Okay, this next part might be a little confusing, but the goal here is to merge both of these panel Ds into each other. And we can do this by merging them onto the same snapping point. In this case, we'll just use a duplicated reactor, and we'll just try and merge both of these panels underneath it. When you try to merge the panels, they're naturally going to want to stack with each other, so we kind of have to force this merge by playing around with it. It just takes a bit of fiddling around with the duplicating, raising, and lowering of the two panels until they merge. Next up, we want to fill the carrier rack with stuff. There's many things that you can add back here. Obviously, we're going to be building a simplified atom runner underneath the maintenance corridor since that's meant to be the core feature of this ship. Now this atom runner is not the one that you see in the trailer. It's a simplified version so that we can save on total parts and minimize performance issues. We're going to be building the actual atom runner as soon as we're done with this Arbor build. But you can also add things like cargo holds or even more Habs underneath the carrier rack. If you decide to go with cargo holds, you can do up to a 5x2 or 5x3 block of various cargo holds and still maintain a very sleek look. StorMaxes always look good when they're flipped into the vertical position, and the various cargo pods from Custom Cargo Plus also look really good here. Now when placing the cargo modules, you want the forward middle cargo module to snap directly to the forward bottom snapping point of the maintenance corridor. Like I said, it looks really good, and if you decide to keep the cargo pods underneath here, you've basically built the Argo Raft from Star Citizen. And it looks even better with a 5x2 stack of cargo pods. Same thing, just line up the forward middle cargo pod with the maintenance corridor. Honestly, I think this one looks the best, even better than having a docked atom runner. But let's build that simplified atom runner so that you can decide what you want to keep. And if you want that standalone atom runner that you saw in the trailer, then we're going to build that one next after we're done with this Arbor build. Now I think the rest of the build process is pretty straightforward, and you should be comfortable with all the merging techniques now, so I'm going to dip out and come back for the interior tour section of the video. But don't worry, all the instructions will still be subtitled on the screen. Alright, it is time for the interior tour. So as you can see, the MAS-600 Arbor-Class is a huge ship. At 80 meters long, it just hits the max vanilla limit for ship sizes, and that means that you get a lot of interior space. With the exception of the crew quarters hab, I used pre-decorated habs from Hope Tech Ship Hab Expansion and Owl Tech, and I added my own decorative touches as well. I used the empty variant for the crew quarters hab because I wanted to add enough beds to accommodate all 9 crew members, and of course, we also have the stair hab from Stroud Premium Edition so that we can access the docked Atom Runner from the inside of the ship. As we come around to the port side, we have the ZSW airlock attached directly to the port side of the workshop hab. So while in space, crew can deploy from this location for coordinated EVA space mining procedures. Coming around to the front of the ship, we have the main entrance through the one-of-a-kind version of the Hope 4.1 XL landing bay. Since this is a door entry bay, we have direct access to the first deck, which opens up to the cargo hold and the main docker. Ideally, I would have liked to decorate this hab myself so I can optimize the layout, but in my testing, the cargo hull hab was the only hab that didn't offer an empty variant. So, I'm using this as a cargo hold that also contains the pilot suit bays, the armory, and some avionics and engineering. This area right here is the main armory of the ship. It's nothing fancy here, just totally utilitarian. I didn't realize that Avalanche added custom workbenches into the various habs. I just thought these were all the vanilla research stations from the Nova habs. So I added an additional weapon workbench here, but yeah, we have supplies, ammunition, and gear maintenance here. I'm using weapon mounts from the Weapon Displays Enhanced mod, and these allow you to also mount heavy weapons. So since this is a mining ship, it's mostly heavy tools here. Now since this cargo hull is a triple width hab, I'm using it like a forked hallway to split the workshop area on the port side of the ship with the crew habitation area on the starboard side. And this is where we're going to be going next. Okay, so we're going to enter through the crew habitation area. This is a 2x1x2 empty crew quarters hab, and I basically kept the same layout as the pre-decorated hab, but just relocated a few of the appliances and furnishings. On the right hand side, we have supply and food storage. This right here is just a static decorative shelf from Midas Manor, but I also added a wall shelf from Betamax's functional decor behind it, so it looks like this shelf has storage when you approach it. The fridges, they're totally functional. The first one is from Betamax and it functions as food storage, while the second one is from a mod called Resupply. Rather than food storage, this fridge is able to replenish all the various food items that you see on display within the fridge, which is pretty cool. As the main galley of the ship, there are additional amenities like a beer tap and an espresso machine. Overall, it is a bit small for a crew of 9, but if the crew are okay with being on a rotation, then it works out perfectly. As you can see, there isn't that much seating area, so being on a rotation is probably going to be necessary. And just like the pre-decorated hab, this room is also the captain's quarters. Again, I just kept the decorations to a minimum here, nothing fancy added. The only thing that I wanted to make sure to include was an in-suite lavatory, so the captain doesn't have to share with the rest of the crew. Honestly, for slightly larger ship builds like this, I tend to use pre-decorated habs so I can focus the decorations on other habs or other ship features. The main reason for this is actually just game stability. Pointer handles are an issue now, so I just want to kind of limit any potential issues. But like I said, for this build, I went with the empty version so I could add more beds. Okay, and moving on to the upper level, we're going to pass by the first crew lavatory. Now, all lavatories on this ship have full amenities with a shower, a sink, and a toilet. There's 3 total on this ship, and you saw the first one in the captain's quarters, this one's the second one, and we're going to see the third one shortly. For the second deck, there's 2 identical rooms, and each have 4 bunks instead of the usual 2 that come with a pre-decorated hab. For a crew of 9, this is definitely going to be a little cramped, but you know, it's an industrial ship, and space is a luxury for something like this. But my main goal with this was just to make sure that every active crew member has a bed to sleep on. At the end of the hallway, we have the final crew quarters room and the final lavatory. Again, fully appointed lavatory with a shower, sink, and toilet, and then for the crew quarters room, it's identical to the first, so 4 beds for 4 crew. Since these 2 rooms are kind of split up like this, I figure it's a perfect way to kind of split up the flight crew with the mining crew. Okay, let's move on to the utility side of the ship. As I mentioned, there is no way to access the utility area directly from the crew habitation area. I wanted this ship to have two distinct wings, so to get to the workshop area, we have to go back through the cargo hold, and now I can show you the other side of the cargo hold, which we didn't get to see yet. Now I didn't have to do too much to this hab because there were already a lot of pre-decorated items already, including the suit bay. I added the clear door in front for some separation, along with various decorations from Argo's extractors to kind of fill up some empty space. And these two suits are for any support crew who are loading or unloading goods from the ship. Now onto what is my favorite part of the interior, the workshop. In my headcanon, I have this hab functioning as a workshop, refinery, and a hangar. And why I also mention a hangar is because I like to think this indented platform is a huge lift for heavy load items and for vehicles to deploy. Because of that, I really wanted this side to look like a workshop, and this all-in-one workbench from Midas Manor has the perfect aesthetic for this. I also filled up some of the empty wall space here with additional power tool racks from Argos extractors and some hand tool racks from Midas Manor. Now this workshop hab already has this decorative conveyor belt and processing plant built in, and this is one of the big reasons why I wanted to lean into the mining aesthetic. I don't think it's functional, and I don't think it has any animations, but it definitely looks the part. And also to kind of flesh this whole area out, I did use decorations from Modular Outpost Argos extractors, as well as TG's Galactic Harvest. Now the suit bay is really big, and I wish it had some additional mannequins for extra suit storage, but either way, I love the way Avalanche implemented the suit display with the custom workbench. And since it's so prominently featured here, I just figured this whole side of the workshop hab is just going to be like a ready room area or like a mud room for the crew to suit up. And so we have boost pack storage and suit storage right by the airlock of the ship. Depending on your platform, GoArray has two mods that allow for EVA spacewalking. ZSW EVA Hatches is available on all platforms, while ZSW Airlocks is a fuller version that's only available for Xbox and PC. But both allow for spacewalking, and it's just another cool way to add an immersive feature to your ship builds. These extra doors were added to simulate having a pressurized chamber, but it doesn't matter whether you have them or not for either of the ZSW mods, it's just for immersion. Okay, this area is the docking control terminal. We have a window here for crew to have line of sight visibility with anything that's mounted on the carrier rack, and that includes the Atom Runner. Moving along, let's go upstairs now. So, we're going to come to this little break area for the crew. On long-range operations, crew need to have time to rest and relax, and this is a great place for that. In here, crew have access to a small galley and a seating nook, as well as an admin office where they can conduct personal crew logs and communicate with loved ones. I love having interior windows like this. It just adds so much depth, and it really makes these ships feel bigger than what they are. Let's exit this break room so that we can access the docking bay of the carrier rack. This catwalk is going to lead us to the stairs, which is going to lead us to the maintenance corridor hab, and this is where we're going to be able to access the docked Atom Runner. We have an additional suit bay here, just in case, and at the rear of the hab is the medical bay. Now I know this is a weird spot for the med bay, but there really wasn't anywhere else to put this, and I do think a ship like this really needs one. If I had a choice, I would have just put this in the cargo hull hab, but since there's no empty variant of that hab, there wasn't really a place to put it, and so I kind of just got stuck with leaving it right here. This hab also does have windows, but since there's parts just outside of the hab, visibility is going to be limited. Okay, now let's go down to the docked Atom Runner. Remember, this is a simplified Atom Runner, so it's shorter by 1/2 hab to save on space, parts, and time. This is just going to be another utilitarian and basic interior. I really didn't do too much to the inside. I kind of just slapped some decorations on the walls to cover up empty wall space, and I just wanted to make sure that there was one bed and a lavatory for the solo operator, in case he gets separated for extended periods of time. There are 2 additional jump seats in here because I wanted the ship to be able to have 2 additional mining passengers in case they wanted to do some tandem space mining as well. Since this is also a cockpit, you can actually fly the entire ship from here, and there are going to be times where your character is just going to be sitting here instead of the actual bridge when you fast travel. It's not a big deal, and it's kind of funny when it happens, but it is something that will happen. Alright, let's make our way back to the bridge now. Man, just look at this view. I love this view. Alright, so let's go and take these stairs back to the flight deck now. The cargo hull has some additional catwalks here, so I just decided to make these viewing areas with portholes, and we have them on each side of the ship. Alright, let's make our way back to the center. We can enter the reactor core, which is the 1x1 main engineering hab from Owltech Let's Work, and this is where we have additional engineering and avionics. This hab is also going to provide additional reactor power, and it also has an industrial workbench, so more functionality. And then finally, we have the bridge. Now I didn't touch the bridge because I want to avoid over-decorating whenever I can for the sake of stability, and the super bridges are detailed enough anyways. Alright, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoy this build, or these builds, as much as I do. If you want to see more carrier concepts like this, feel free to shoot me some themes and roles in the comments, and I'll see what I can come up with. Now for my next few videos, I am going to be going back to my normal No Man's Sky and Starfield schedule, where I do a build from each game every other upload, starting with my next video, which is going to be a No Man's Sky Bounty Hunter build. By including the No Man's Sky videos again, I think I should be able to pump out closer to 3 to 4 videos a month, but my schedule is going to get busier again in August and September, so it's probably going to taper back down to 2 videos again, and then after that, we'll see from there. But like I mentioned in my past videos, I am working on some ship-adjacent videos, like an outpost guide and an advanced building tips guide, and I'm hoping to get these out before the end of August. That is the goal. Okay, that's it for the updates. I just want to give a special shout out to my 2 channel members, Night of Abyss and Neon Dystopian. Really appreciate it, you two. Thank you very much. And for everyone else, thank you for continuing to tune in. As always, feel free to reach out to me in the comments if you have any questions or build requests, or if you just want to chat all things Starfield and No Man's Sky shipbuilding. This is Lindan, signing off. See you in the Starfield.